Yeah, it's been very good. I mean, Sunday was very interesting for me on a personal level. But apart from that, it's been a very good week. Cheltenham officially were promoted from League Two into League One as well. So it's not been a bad week for me at all on a personal level.
No, good.
How about you?
Just vibes really. Spurs won, which I can't really complain about.
Bale.
Yeah, about time. That's really been it, I think.
Good. Well, it's good to know that you're just vibing.
Yeah. Nathan's not with us again, shocker. He is busy this week, but actually legit busy this week. So he'll be back.
Legit busy.
He'll be back next time, probably. Who knows?
Who knows?
Right, let's get into the news, Ryan.
The news, right. So obviously a lot's happened this week. First of all, we'll start off with the main events of Sunday, where Manchester United's game against Liverpool was called off after fan protests against the Glazers, which sort of escalated out of control. There was rumours fights with cops. Fans were able to apparently storm Old Trafford. You know, fans were able to get inside the ground, breaking cameras, attacking the executive boxes. You know, it was all crazy up in Manchester. What was supposed to be a peaceful protest turned into something that of a few minority Manchester United fans decided to take things a bit further. I don't know what your thoughts were on the whole thing.
I think that it's a chain of events. So I sent you the tweet what I thought anyway.
Oh, yeah,
It's a chain of events. You disrespect the fans, you join the Super League. This is what happens. It's been coming. It's the same as Spurs and Daniel Levy. It's just escalated to the next level, which was going to come eventually. Do I think all the actions were acceptable? No. But do I think they were justified? No. I wouldn't say justified. I'd say more of it was coming.
It was coming.
The best way to say it was coming.
It's been a long time. I mean, they were lucky enough, the Glazers, to buy Manchester United in 2005. The fans have wanted them out since 2010 when the whole anti-Glazers campaign started, when we were at the height of our success. And then ever since Fergie departed, the calls for the Glazers to sell have been growing louder. You know, the failed number of signings we've had, the number of managers we've had,
and the amount of money not invested at the right time. I think that's fair.
Exactly.
But to go over it, I feel that it was coming. Whether to storm the hotel and the pitch was a good thing, I don't know. But the fans are doing their bit to be heard.
Exactly.
It's one of those things.
It is one of those things.
And next on the news...
But we will talk more about Man United's game a little later.
On the news.
The second main news of today was that the Premier League have introduced a new owners' charter that has recently been released today by the Premier League, which all 20 of the clubs have to sign up for. Basically, it's been created to protect the moral principles of the Premier League, and also to stop any owners trying to break away to create, say, another European Super League situation.
Or British Super League.
Or British Super League situation.
I thought this is a good thing.
It needs to be done.
Because, again, another outrage like that was a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
I just feel that there will be a loophole. And in 10 years' time, there'll be another big scandal about this, I feel. It always happens.
It always does happen. They need to kick it out. They need to get these owners out of football.
I think, the only way to combat it is get the owners out.
Exactly.
But, that's not really much more to say. I didn't know about that one. But, next up is...
obviously, West Brom will basically as of today, all but relegated because they drew 1-1 with Wolves. If they have any chance of staying up, they need to have... One of the teams above them needs to have a momentous collapse, and they have to win their 4 remaining Premier League games to stand any chance. It's not happening. Nice to know you, West Brom, but
they'll be back up next year.
Goodbye. There'll be another Euro club like Norwich, but hey ho.
Yeah. It's just not really.
West Brom are just a club.
Just West Brom. They're Spurs. They were Spurs' bogey team. I didn't want to come back up. It's just boring. I feel it's just another. Yeah, as you said, Watford or Norwich.
But then also, it's Big Sam's 100% record of saving teams from the Premier League drop is going to be over.
I just resign on game 37.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Don't break the record.
I know, yeah.
But I think he came in too late. Anyway.
He did come in too late. But, It was mad.
He wasn't
second. No.
I think if he was at the start of the season, it would have been fine.
Yeah.
But they gave it. I think Bilic getting stuck was harsh in the first place.
It was.
So.
I agree with that.
But
as well.
It is what it is. We're not in charge. What do we know, Ryan? We know nothing.
We know. Yeah, we know nothing. Yeah. We're just here.
Yeah. Next.
Obviously, on Friday through to today, there was a social media blackout from football clubs across the country in an attempt to combat online social media abuse. Now, obviously, I can understand why they've done it, because obviously the media blackout, it's to try and stop racism. But is it a powerful enough message? Of course it's not. There are still going to be, online trolls going to send vile racist abuse to players, regardless or not, whether the clubs aren't on social media or not. The action needs to be stronger. So, social media companies such as Facebook, Instagram, they have to do
Twitter
they have to do more, because it's getting out of control now. I mean, taking the knee as well. The Premier League players still do it. What's the point if they're still going to be getting violent racist abuse week in, week out? It's just not acceptable.
I think good intention but bad execution is the best way to describe this, and the knee, actually. With the blackout, I feel that the blackout isn't the answer. It should just ban the people that are doing it. You can literally get someone's IP address and ban them from social media.
Exactly.
And I feel with companies like Twitter, Facebook, their priorities are all wrong.
Mm-hmm.
They'd rather ban someone on a political level than they would for a racial level.
Yeah,
and I think that has to change. For example, look, I know he wasn't the best president in a lot of people's eyes, but Donald Trump got permanently banned from Twitter. Why? Because he's Donald Trump. He was the president. He had a few out there views, all right, fair enough, but he wouldn't DM Troy Deeney or Wilfred Zaha monkey emojis or call me N-word or whatever.
Exactly. Why do you think Wilfred Zaha was one that has become the only Premier League player to not take the knee? Because he knows it's just it's not good enough.
And again,
simple
with the knee again, just bad execution, but a good idea.
It's a good idea, but it's not enough.
But to me, taking the knee is surrendering.
It is.
Just from my standpoint, I understand the whole logistics of it, but it's surrendering. You don't want to surrender. You should be standing up to it.
Exactly.
Such a bad subject to talk about.
Yeah, I agree.
You just got to stand up to it.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Next up.
Next up, obviously, Daniel Ek, the Spotify owner, was doing an American interview this week, and he basically confirmed of his, interest in buying Arsenal, and he said in his interview that he's deadly serious, like very deadly serious about trying to buy Arsenal from the Chrome Cares, and he basically said it looked like a sort of hear him out kind of plea gesture to the current owner, saying, look, I know you're probably not going to accept, but I just want you to hear me out. Yeah. It could be of interest to you.
Well, that's my premium gone. I'm not funding their transfers next season, but interesting character, Daniel Ek. Read up about the Spotify stock price when they were linked with Arsenal. It fell by 10%. So that means a lot of people cancelled their premium.
I haven't yet.
No, I haven't yet, but if it happens, I'll go to Amazon Music or something like that. But
maybe.
I mean, for the Arsenal fans, it'll be good if he takes over. They're in the same position as us, I feel, with Levy and the Glazers.
Yeah, I completely agree with that.
It's one of those, another American out of touch owner.
Yeah.
Trying to ruin a club that has loads of prestige and history.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You're not far wrong. And finally, more about Premier League fixtures. The final 2 match days of the Premier League season are all being played on the same days. So Wednesday the 19th of May and the 23rd and Sunday the 23rd of May are basically all kicking off at the same time, as the hope is the Premier League is hoping to get home and away fans back into grounds for those last 2 fixtures of the season.
Good and bad.
It is good and bad, yeah.
Obviously 500 away fans, I think it is.
Yes, it is 500, yeah.
But the game's been so close together. I mean...
And is there really any point to get them in for the final 2 games of the season?
Yes and no.
Yes, because...
From a practical point, probably not, because it's 2 games. But
exactly.
From a fan's point of view, it'd be good to see your team again. Hopefully we get some tickets to Southampton. That'd be quite nice.
It would be nice to go and see Saints final 2 games, but who knows?
Yeah.
And those are the main stories that this week.
Yeah, the top 6 stories, as it is every week. Sometimes more, depends. But let's go on to the results from...
this week. Last week, rather.
From Tuesday to now, from today.
So obviously Tuesday and Wednesday was the UEFA Champions League first legs. Chelsea were able to surprisingly hold Real Madrid to a 1-1 draw
At Madrid as well.
at Madrid, which is very impressive. Christian Pulisic with the away goal, whilst Man City were also able to pull off a shock 2-1 victory against PSG.
Shock. I wouldn't say shock.
Well,
I think
they looked under the cosh during the first half. Massively under the cosh.
To Chelsea, credit to Chelsea, it's hard to go into the Bernabeu and get anything, even
Exactly,
a goal.
Exactly,
Yeah. And then the City game, you can't take the Spurs out of Parch.
No.
That's all I have to say. The goals weren't the best.
I mean,
goals.
Keylor Navas had an absolute shocker in the second half.
Yeah,
I mean, and yes, De Bruyne's goal was a fluke. It was a cross.
It was a cross, but it was the pace of the ball that bounced.
Exactly, yeah.
Put him in.
Exactly.
Next.
Obviously, Thursday, we had the Europa League. Arsenal losing 2-1 to Villarreal and Unai Emery. We love to see it.
Big up Etienne Capoue and 1-4.
Good evening. I'm Unai Emery.
He is.
So that second leg this week will be very interesting.
Arsenal are going to go through. 3-0 I'm going for.
No, I reckon Unai Emery. No. This is Unai Emery's competition, the Europa League. No. He's won it 3 times in a row with Sevilla.
Yeah, but it's away to Arsenal. It's not going to be. It's not easy, is it?
It's not easy, no. But they've got some good players. Villarreal. So
1-4 is our best player, but I'm 1.5.
I'd probably say Gerard Moreno or Pau Torres, but
typical Pau Torres.
Typical Pau Torres.
And then we move to Manchester United versus Roma. United had a stinker at the start of this game.
Yeah, we were 2-1 down at half time. Obviously, there was a VAR call, which at the time I didn't agree with, but looking back on it now, it probably was the correct call. Edin Dzeko and Mkhitaryan were causing problems in the first half.
Premier League throwbacks.
I was thinking at half time, oh great, here we go, another semi-final bottle.
Ole out.
I wasn't thinking Ole out. No, I was just thinking, here we go, another semi-final bottle. But and the final scoreline ended up being 6-2 to Man United.
Repeat of the Champions League. Then they beat with the Champions League 7-1.
7-1, yeah, massive turnaround. Bruno Fernandes finally turning up in the big game. Edison Cavani scoring and assisting goals, proving why I feel he should be getting a new contract.
I read, actually, going back to the news briefly, that there's a high chance that he's going to sign the new deal. It is on the verge of being accepted this week or next week.
The interesting thing about that is they put that out because of all the bad press that the Glazers were getting. Funnily enough,
a
bit convenient that they decided to put the media swing. Oh yeah, Cavani's close to signing a new deal, just as these protests were going on.
Yeah,
very convenient. Yeah. Very convenient.
The Friday now.
So we had the Friday night football game, Southampton versus Leicester. I was thinking, oh yeah, this is going to be another 9-0 Leicester masterclass. It was just a 1-1 draw.
I said Saints would win 2-1, actually. I wasn't too far off.
But obviously, again, VAR had a major talking point. Yannick Vestergaard was sent off for a clean tackle. Literally a clean tackle.
Was it from behind, though?
I mean, look, the problem is, you can argue that it was from behind. But if you watch the replay, he gets the ball first and then his other leg goes into Vardy, which makes him fall over and Vardy rolling around on the floor. It was, yeah, obviously Vestergaard's first touch let him down, which obviously led to that happening. But if you're getting sent off for kicking the ball away first before taking the man, it's like, can you not tackle anymore?
It's very difficult because... Do I think it's a red? No.
No, it's not.
But I can see why it was a red card.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's just that stereotypical tall man, clumsy, Premier League, Fazios, etc.
Yeah. But obviously, it's another interesting VAR decision.
I think the refs. It's not the VAR. It's not the test.
No, it's the refs.
Get some new refs.
And I've got a question for you later on your opinion of VAR.
Okay, lovely.
We will see. So Saturday's fixtures from the Premier League. The early kickoff, Man City going away to Crystal Palace and winning 2-0. Comfortable result for them, really.
Standard City at this point.
Sergio Aguero and Ferran Torres, the scorers. Just a standard City performance, really. Yeah. Aguero back on the score sheet. He's had a tough season personally, and with it being his final one in the Premier League, It's gonna as a Man United fan, it's gonna be sad to see Aguero go.
Bittersweet.
It is bittersweet because obviously the whole 2013, one of the most iconic Premier League moments ever.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm still mad about that to this day, but he's still one of the best strikers I've seen.
I'd say the best striker of the decade. By a mile.
Country mile. You can't argue. I can't argue
the
with
last
that.
decade.
Yeah. I can't argue with that at all.
He's world class.
Brighton winning 2-0 against Leeds.
Shock.
Graham Potter outclassing Marcelo Bielsa.
Well, that's Brighton's safe, unfortunately.
Brighton will be, Graham Potter being linked with the Spurs job.
No thanks.
Jack's already thinking, oh no.
It's another mid-tier manager.
Obviously, Brighton pretty much getting the result they needed to confirm they're safe. Standard, really.
Don't want Brighton up there, but it is what it is. There's no point complaining about it.
The late kick-off, Chelsea 2, Fulham 0.
Again, Mason Mount goal contribution. Playing as an 8 this time.
8 this time. Kai Havertz getting both the goals. Is he starting to reap the rewards of playing? I think he is.
Next season.
Havertz and Werner next season, I think, will be more deadlier than they've been this season.
Werner
hasn't had that bad a season. Yeah, he's not scoring the goals.
I read a stat. I think he's 8th or 5th in attackers this season.
Exactly. He's not
goals and assists.
Yeah.
Shots on target percentage.
It's just confidence and trying to adapt to the Premier League. I mean, obviously, it's tough coming to a new country, playing,
especially when you're young as well. He's 23, 24?
23, 24, yeah. It's the same with Havertz. It's like 20, 22.
He's our age.
He's just
a kid, and
exactly. Especially when you're paying £72 million for him. Exactly. He's got the weight world on his shoulders. You can't start. Well, obviously, with that big a price tag, you're obviously going to get the media and fans saying,
expectation on you.
Yeah, he should be doing more. We cost £72 million.
Yep.
And then for the final game from Saturday was Everton against Aston Villa. Everton 1, Aston Villa 2.
El Ghazi was a screamer.
Absolutely, it was a wonder goal, and Everton are slowly trying to
do a better Spurs impression.
Their best Spurs impression and bottle European football.
Another point, Villa winning without Grealish.
I know,
Yeah, amazing.
Grealish being injured, will this cost him for the Euros? I hope not.
I don't know. But hopefully he's back.
He should be back. He should
needs
be back.
To play.
But I think if the England squad's getting announced within the next couple of weeks.
So there'll be a video on that.
There will be a video on that.
Probably one of these.
There's going to be some huge debates on that. There's probably going to be some tears. There's probably going to be some fights.
No doubt.
No doubt, of course.
Right. And then
Sunday, we obviously had Newcastle 0, Arsenal 2.
Standard result from that kind of game. Arsenal going there, getting a couple of goals.
I watched that game, and Newcastle looked as a team that thought, oh yeah, our season's done here. We're safe now.
They're on holiday mode now. They've got their points.
They've got their points. I can't see Fulham gaining the points back, to be honest.
Nor West Brom.
With 4 to go. Well, West Brom have to win their 4 remaining games.
Yeah,
so I can't see it. They're done pretty much. Obviously, United and Liverpool was supposed to happen, but it didn't.
It got delayed, then it got called off.
Delayed and then called off.
Yeah.
And then the late game on Sunday was Spurs 4, Sheffield United 0. And I'll let this man go through.
I couldn't be asked to watch the whole game. I'm not a fan of the season now, but I watched the highlights, and from what I saw, Gareth Bale, like the old Bale, the second goal he put in the top corner was like a good finish.
Mm-hmm.
That's now his 12th goal. I think it's 12 or 14 this season now.
Yeah, something like that.
The attitude of the team is still very low. Kane has not scored under Ryan Mason yet. The goals have dried up rapidly.
Interesting.
It is.
It is very interesting. Is that maybe a sign towards his future being elsewhere, do you think?
At this point, I don't really care.
And obviously Mason coming out in the interview afterwards saying, "Oh yeah, I wouldn't mind." Just going on about Bale. Would you have him at Tottenham next season if there was an opportunity to keep him?
No. I thought about this. 20 million quid worth a player. All right, it's good for shirt sales, but other than that, no. And get on to another point about Bale and his post-match interview, saying about we're playing more attacking attacking football.
Oh yeah,
I saw,
I saw
taking
that.
a job
Yeah,
at Mourinho. But where's our Carabao Cup, Bale? Hey, Gareth, where is it? You came on and touched the ball once in that 10 minutes, in that 10-minute period. So again, Gareth, your attitude stinks. No thanks.
Again, and then obviously Dele Alli as well played on Sunday, doing his best Captain Jack Sparrow impression.
Yeah,
with
just
his
get him to
haircut.
go as well. He's awful. Everyone's saying, "Oh, he's back, he's back." What did he do? What did he do?
I noticed.
Bergwijn got an assist.
Bergwijn got an assist. I was just about to say Bergwijn got an assist.
What did Ali do? Nothing. Ran around for a bit and probably Crowley got subbed off.
He did get subbed off.
There you go. Then why are you playing? Just get out of my club, mate.
And Ndombele didn't start again.
That's bad.
Harry Winks played though.
Yeah, because it's Daniel Levy. It's all Daniel Levy.
It's Daniel Levy.
Ryan Mason's a yes man.
Yes
Daniel
man.
Levy is he's a puppet master.
Yes, Daniel. Yes, Daniel.
Yes, Daniel. I'll play Harry and Stephen to get their transfer value up. Yes, Daniel. I'll play
Dele
Dele
Alli
Alli with his new trim. Yeah.
Yes, Daniel. I'll play Gareth Bale because we wanted him back and forked out God knows how much for his wages.
Yeah. Yes, Daniel. I'll make Harry Kane play back. He hasn't leaving the summer. It's all a ploy. It's a ploy.
And those were the results.
Yeah.
From the fixtures.
Yeah.
And obviously, we did a poll last week. Obviously,
we've got a record.
Which got a record 38 votes.
38 votes.
And
we'd like to thank everyone that voted.
Yeah. Genuine pleasure.
Yeah, it's good. There'll be another poll to the next Ballon d'Or.
Yeah.
Which will come out straight after this. We'll have it up on Twitter.
Exactly.
Twitter.com/3kickpodcast. Yes.
And obviously, Nathan's suggestion of Højbjerg being overrated was the overall winner last week.
38%.
Whilst our votes of Kelechi, Iheanacho and Levy out were tied.
How? That doesn't make... Well, that's not the right number.
That's what I saw on my Twitter.
38,
32.
No, it has to be 30, would it not? I don't know.
That's what.
Yeah, it would be. It would be 30% for Levy.
Yeah.
Right.
Mine
Quick
just
maths.
Sneaked ahead.
Yeah. Højbjerg overrated 30%. Typical, really.
Yeah.
Nathan pulling one away.
Nathan pulling away once again.
Kelechi and Iheanacho getting 32% after a great
run.
And then Levy out getting 30, finishing bottom. Spurs fans, mate, what are you doing? Why?
It's quite
You're
funny.
so passionate about him out. I finished last.
It's quite funny.
That was a dead winner. I have a feeling that the fans don't like me. Maybe it's Jack out, not Nathan out.
I don't know about that.
Oh dear.
But obviously, that was our poll last week. Make sure to go and vote this time.
Yep,
we have our options out.
Before we get into the options, we'll have the upcoming fixtures for this week.
Yeah. So obviously, the second legs of the UCL and Europa League. I mean, obviously, some big games. United surely can't bottle a 6-2 lead.
They shouldn't be able to.
They shouldn't be able to, but this is Man United.
Anything's
possible. We're talking about Unai Emery. Will he go to the Emirates and get one over his old club? I hope he does. It would be bittersweet.
Yeah, actually, that game's a 50-50.
Yeah. Pochettino, can he pull off a comeback for PSG?
No.
Well, apparently Mbappe is out tomorrow.
It was my game. So the limp was... I saw the limp. No, it is mind games. A bit like, is he injured? Is he not injured? I doubt he's injured.
Pochettino, I really hope Pochettino pulls off a comeback. I'd love it if PSG beats City.
It'll be good.
It would be good. And then obviously Chelsea against Madrid. It's a tough ask for Chelsea, I think. Obviously, 1-all.
I think they got it the bag.
1-all is a decent scoreline, but obviously Madrid, you never know. Madrid, Eden Hazard coming back to Stamford Bridge. Courtois, ex-Chelsea players. Hazard adored by the Chelsea fans.
No one's there, so it doesn't make a difference.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Eden Hazard masterclass and coming probably gets injured 10 minutes in and substituted off anyway. So that'll be me in the mud. Yeah. But anyway, Premier League fixtures for this week. There is another Friday night football game. Leicester at home to Newcastle.
A good game.
Should be an interesting
Leicester
game.
Win that one.
Leicester should win that one.
Newcastle finished.
Newcastle, and obviously the pundits will defend Steve Bruce because
it's Steve Bruce
and he's one of their mates.
Yeah.
Which Newcastle fans don't like. They've wanted him out for the best part, I'd probably
18
say
months.
18
months. Since he got the job,
yeah they wanted him out.
As well.
Saturday, the early kick-off on Saturday is Tottenham going away to Leeds.
Have to ruin a weekend early.
That'll be a great game.
Well, we'll see. Draw. Has draw written all over it.
I reckon I'm gonna go 2-0 top.
Just give us a 4-all draw. I'll be quite happy with that.
Well, yeah, some nice games to end the season on
Yeah,
a high would be great.
Loads of goals.
Sheffield United versus Crystal Palace. I think it's a bore draw.
Sheffield were appalling yesterday.
They were poor.
Oh, another quick mention. John Fleck were getting sent off.
Oh, yeah, I did see that.
Stepped on the Celso's head and they didn't even get checked. It's so inconsistent.
I know, yeah.
Right. Well, I'm over it now.
The key game on Saturday, Man City versus Chelsea, has big implications.
Top four
versus, well, City are going to be crowned champions anyway. It's only the top four. West Ham winning today puts them back into 5th, 3 points behind Chelsea. If Chelsea win, I think that's pretty much them secured for top 4 and the current top 4.
Spurs are only 5 points behind, I think it is.
I thought Spurs are...
They're 5th. They're behind West Ham again. They're 6 again, aren't they?
They're 5 points behind. Yeah, they're 5 points behind with 4 to go. Tottenham could still sneak in, but would have to beat Chelsea, and West Ham would obviously have to drop points.
Come on.
And then the late game, Liverpool versus Southampton. Well, the last time these two sides played, Southampton won 1-0.
I watched that, actually.
Nathan was quite happy with that result.
I watched that game.
Obviously, this fixture will be a contrast this time round. Danny Ings out injured.
Oh, 4-0 Liverpool.
Liverpool should win.
Vestergaard banned, potentially.
Vestergaard will be banned
unless they appeal.
I would appeal as well.
Yeah.
So Sunday, Wolves against Brighton is the early kickoff. Boring draw. Maybe a Brighton win because Wolves have been poor this season.
Draw.
And Wolves fans have interestingly started to start the Nuno out.
Oh,
the
Nuno
out brigade. One. Yeah, some Wolves fans have become unhappy with how their side have performed recently.
End of the season, just get over it. You're not fighting for anything. Just leave it.
Yeah, but they've had a massive drop off. They're like bottom of the table when the last couple of seasons they've been challenging for Europe and stuff. It's a massive drop off. A real massive drop off.
Their squad depth was appalling.
And then obviously we've said this before, replacing obviously Raul Jimenez being injured doesn't help matters.
William Jose is not good enough.
Jose is not good for the Premier League.
Thank God we didn't sign him.
Thank God we didn't sign him either.
God.
And then obviously trying to rely on Fabio Silva. Well, he's not ready for the Premier League yet, I don't think.
No.
Being thrown in at the deep end, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But when you're paying £40 million for him, it's like
he's 18. What do you expect?
What do you expect? Yeah. Man United going away to Aston Villa. Well,
has the potential to be a special game, though.
It does have a potential. Obviously, will the Man United players still be affected by this weekend's events?
I'd say so.
I think they will be. Obviously, no idea when the Man United Liverpool game is going to get rearranged. Obviously, we went to Villa last season. Bruno Fernandes had a dubious penalty. VAR again. Well, he hasn't had many penalties in the Prem this season.
There's been a few.
There's been a few, but another key game in the race for top 4 on Sunday as well, as West Ham play Everton. That has West Ham written all over it. Everton are trying to do their best Spurs impression, as we've already said.
Yeah. Hopefully Everton just get a draw. Spurs out of it.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. You'll be relying on Everton to do something.
Also no, basically.
Also not, because that will bring them back into it. And then Arsenal versus West Brom.
Arsenal 4-5-0 at least.
Yeah,
come on. West Brom are finished.
Especially if they lose to Villarreal in midweek, then they'll want a reaction. So, and it would be a remarkable achievement if Sam Allardyce is able to save West Brom from this position. It's very unlikely, but
I agree. No chance.
No, absolute no chance.
Yeah, better schedule than Leicester did that time.
And then Monday is also a key game as Fulham go to Burnley go to Fulham, rather.
Fulham should win. They have to win.
Fulham has to win.
It's an imperative that they win.
If Fulham are to get out of the mess they're in, they have to beat Burnley on Monday. Yeah, if not, then that's pretty much the season done then, because there's no exciting relegation final day.
Agreed.
Shenanigans, especially as Fulham go to Newcastle on the final day. So
hopefully they do win.
Hopefully they do pick up points. Fulham and Newcastle keep dropping, but we at least want some excitement this season.
Exactly. Just give us something to play for. If not, just watch the Championship or something.
Well, the Championship final day on Saturday is supposed to be good. Derby play Sheffield Wednesday.
I'll be watching soccer Saturday. Hopefully,
I'll be watching that as well. Should be a good game. Right. Now, talking points.
Okay. Yeah.
We've got a few talking points to discuss, mainly United versus Liverpool, VAR again. Should it be scrapped after this season? And then obviously we can talk more about the social media boycott as well.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll start.
We'll go with the social media boycott.
We'll
thing that it's petty. I know it's petty. I know it's stupid. I know maybe people are going to be like, "Oh, it's a bit stupid. You said that," but I couldn't work out what minute the game was. Like the commentary.
No, it's really weird because obviously EFL clubs had done it as well, and obviously
And EA done it, so I couldn't see what came out.
You're trying to keep up with the Cheltenham score on when I usually check it on Twitter with all the score updates, and there's nothing. It's like, oh Christ, what's going on here then?
I don't like using the apps because they always crash. I like using Twitter.
Twitter.
I love, you get the reaction of the fans.
Exactly.
Really funny.
They are funny, and obviously. Sometimes when you're watching Cheltenham, you scroll through Twitter and then the goal comes up before the actual stream shows the goals. That's what makes Twitter, to be honest. Seeing that, because you can either be celebrating a goal going 1-0 up,
or just turning it off.
Or turning it off. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
We'll go to VAR again.
Time
to scrap the refs. I've come to the conclusion.
I think it's not the tech. Let's get one thing very clear. We've said this before. It's the referees that are using the technology. It's not the actual VAR, because obviously the referees have different interpretations every week of what's a handball, what's not, what's a penalty. And obviously sometimes a referee can give an offside because his elbow's past the last man, or another referee could give an offside because his toe is past the last defender.
Yeah.
Make your mind up. What is offside and what's not? It's not that difficult.
I agree with him.
The offside rule is one of the most easiest rules you could learn in.
Joe Glazer.
Like it. Very nice. Very nice. But obviously, your overall thoughts on the campaign before we get onto the main talking point of United versus Liverpool. Yeah, this campaign. Your
long season.
Your overall campaign.
Well, by end of the season, Spurs will play 60 games, and that is the most I've seen them play and followed in a long time.
If I'd asked him, thoughts on the campaign to December, he did love life at that point.
But yeah, it's just been a very long, treacherous season, full of ups and downs and downs and downs, and a little up and a massive down. Again, the same old story. Daniel Levy not doing the right thing.
Obviously, my point of view. Well, obviously, started off the campaign with a defeat to Palace. I was thinking, oh, here we go again, same old, same old. We didn't sign Sancho this summer. I was thinking, oh, for God's sake, here we go again. Here we go again. Picked up a couple of one against whoever it was in the second game. Then it was the 6-1 against Spurs. I was Ollie out at that point. I really was. That was one of the worst performances I've ever seen in a long time.
I was already in at that point as well.
Yeah, I know. Man United were like langering near the bottom. Ollie wasn't getting sacked. Fans were angry. I was. But confidently surprised at how Ollie has turned it round massively.
He loves the club.
He does love the club, and he's got the system that works. Bruno Fernandes, again, has been an absolute sensational player to watch at times. Winning in Derby against Manchester City, again, a major moment.
The PE teacher.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer masterminding Pep again. Got his revenge on Jose in Spurs' own backyard as well.
Don't say that. We beat you 6-1 in your own
backyard. I know. But revenge is bittersweet. But obviously, it's been an up and down season. Obviously, exiting the Champions League again was horrifying. Losing to Istanbul Başakşehir.
The President's 11.
Watching Martial play up front week in, week out,
so
when
lazy.
Cavani's not been fit has been makes my eyes want to bleed. But Cavani we need to get Cavani a new contract. Obviously the news leaked out on Sunday that he probably is going to stay another year, which I think is fantastic news. get and work on his fitness over the summer because he has to start.
We didn't play for 8 months beforehand, remember?
No, yeah.
It was.
I think he has to be starting striker if we don't sign anyone next striker this summer. But no, on the whole campaign, it started off really poorly, but obviously
an interesting one for both teams.
It's been very interesting. Yeah, it has on a personal and emotional level. I feel
draining.
It has been draining, and we got the Euros soon, so more football back in England to win. Hopefully, you sound so excited. I love European competition; it's great. But obviously, the major topic is the Man United Liverpool game getting called off. Now, obviously, I woke up on Sunday thinking, oh yeah, Man United Liverpool, one of the greatest fixtures in English football. Obviously, we've beaten Liverpool in the FA Cup this season and should have beaten them at Anfield. So I was thinking, this will be an interesting game. Obviously, hoping that Cavani and Bruno scored a couple of goals. Happy days. Obviously, I completely forgot, as I remembered when, before I recorded this, that I've said that there would be a protest at 2 p.m. on Sunday before the game, and I completely forgot it was happening. So I was scrolling through Twitter and seeing all the fans outside Old Trafford, and I was like, oh yeah, there's a protest today. I completely forgot about it. And then as things escalated on Sky, seeing the fans storm Old Trafford, I was like, oh, okay, are we actually going to get a game today then, or what? So I was just sat on Sky enthralled, listening to like Roy Keane, Graham Souness, Mika Richards-Carragher and Neville going on about the protests and stuff. It was really fascinating to watch and enthralling at the same time because you didn't know if there was going to be a game on or not. But obviously some of the actions that happened, storming the team hotel, probably not the best move. Obviously there were reports that players such as Maguire, Fernandes, Matic and Lindelof wanted to come out of the hotel to talk to the supporters. Very brave of them, if that is true.
Maguire is an underrated leader.
He is a very underrated leader. I think Bruno coming in has helped him massively as well. And Shaw as well, massively. But my thoughts on the whole protests, I mean, it was a great the overall protest was peaceful. There was a few minority fans that were acting like idiots and started throwing bottles and getting involved with police officers.
My favourite part was when the guy scored over a kick in the goal.
Yeah, I saw that.
When someone kicked the ball in the net and he fell off the goal.
The kid that's just chilling on top of the Old Trafford goal. And seeing all the tweets saying, oh yeah, I've scored at Old Trafford and all that. Yeah. But obviously, what I didn't like about the whole thing the next day after the protests happened is the media saying that fans had rioted Old Trafford. But if you see Twitter footage, there are stewards that are opening the gates to allow the fans into the stadium in the first place. Yeah. So it's how are you going to twist that then? Because some of the fans didn't technically storm Old Trafford because they were allowed to go into the stadium and storm Old Trafford. Obviously, some of the fans' actions by breaking cameras and
that's a message to Sky to get the prices down. I told you, Ryan.
It is that, but then the main protest is about the Glazers and the fact that they've taken.
It all wraps into one big ball.
That they've taken £1 billion out of the club and failed to continue to make Man United the dominant force that we have been in English football. It's not about the European Super League. We hate the Glazers because of the whole European Super League. We've hated them for the past few years now. For the past decade. This is something that's been it's been boiling up and up and up over the years since Fergie left. Obviously, Ed Woodward's been a hated man for many years. Obviously, fans went and attacked his house. Obviously, for the whole Bruno Fernandes transfer. Man United fans have been slowly losing out of patience. And all it took was this European Super League. And all of the United fans have finally snapped. And it was a great, on the whole, it was a good protest. You can look at the fans and say, but they shouldn't have maybe stormed the team hotel or shouldn't have got involved with police officers or stormed Old Trafford. But how else are you supposed to vent your frustration and anger at owners and send a message of getting the game? Man United versus Liverpool is probably the greatest fixture in English football. Traditionally. It's one of the biggest games that's known around the world.
In world football, to be fair.
In world football, yeah. Getting the game that size called off due to protest at the owners, I think, is a fantastic achievement overall, because it shows that the message of the whole protest is loud and clear. We don't like the Glazers. We want them out of our club. It's as simple as that.
It's fair.
And I think that all the Liverpool fans and Man City fans and even Spurs fans saying, you've spent £1 billion on transfers. What are you complaining for? Yes, I will admit, we have been a club that have spent ridiculous amount of money on players. Like Di Maria, Falcao, Memphis Depay are just free. Alexis Sanchez, Harry Maguire, Pogba even. Yes, we have spent money on players that have worked and haven't worked, but it's
like any club.
Look at Man City fans. How much money have you spent since
how much has been wasted as well?
Your owners took charge. I mean, Liverpool, they've spent money. I mean, they got 50 million for Torres and wasted 35 million on it on Andy Carroll and all that. Like, even Spurs. You should be more angry at Daniel Levy.
I don't want to hear it.
No, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, the fact is they had that 85 million to spend. They got 7
exactly,
bad players.
Exactly.
3 good players.
Yeah, whilst we've done a few bad deals in the transfer business under Moyes, Van Gaal, Mourinho, and under 3 different managers, it's half of that is because they haven't been backed by the owners. I.e.
at the right time.
I.e. best example, Jose wanted a centre back the season after he finished second, didn't get one. A few months later, he got sacked.
No, we got battered down by Spurs.
Exactly, yeah. It's one of those. We're not angry at the fact. Because we're not angry at the Glazers because we've been poor in the transfer market the past few years. We're angry because of the fact that they've turned Manchester United into a business rather than an actual football club that should be winning trophies.
Yeah, agreed.
We've won more Premier League trophies than any other club in the Premier League. 20.
Almost
20. Yeah, 20 Premier League titles. We should have won at least 25 by now. But no, the Glazers think, we don't care about the football inside. All we care about is the shirt sales and the stock market profits. It's not good enough. Profit over glory, exactly.
Yeah.
And the thing, I'll be upset if City win the Champions League because it's like, well, they've only bought their way to success. I mean, yeah, they've been the best Premier League team this season. I'm not going to sit here and say, City don't deserve to win the Premier League.
Yeah, but have they bought their way to success? Because I see it as he's bought these players and developed them into world-class players. He's not just gone, this season we're going to buy Mbappe and Haaland. He's not done it all in one season. It's been a project over, 4 seasons, 5 seasons now?
Well, since 2008, realistically, if you think about it.
Pep specifically.
Pep
3-4 years.
Pep specifically, 3 or 4 years. But Man City as a whole, 2008, they probably invested...
It's 1.2 billion, I think it was.
Yeah, exactly. 1.2 billion to get where they are.
1.3, I think it is.
To get where they are.
Yeah.
It's crazy how it's contrasted.
Made it back.
Man City have done what they've needed to do to be successful. Man United, it's like, okay, we'll sack a few managers, get the fans on.
City have done just the same with their managers as well. There's a lot of managers for that club.
Exactly, yeah. It's just one of those things, really. Obviously, the protest, I think, has worked. Obviously, let's talk about Man United getting punished, and I can see it happening. And honestly, I think I wouldn't be that bothered if we were docked points. I think the main thing is now we have to get the Glazers out sooner rather than later. As soon as we get them out and get owners that actually care about the footballing side of transfers, the club, that actually communicate with their own fans about how they want their club to be run, I think that Man United could potentially be on their way back. But obviously it's a long road ahead because the Glazers are one of those stubborn families that are going to be sitting over in America watching their baseball and basketball games, probably like, fans are protesting. We don't care about that.
We're not here to see it.
We're not here to see it. We own the club. You don't tell us what to do.
Yeah.
But again, fan willpower will beat anything.
It will.
It's the chance of we decide when you play. I love that from yesterday because it just goes to show that you can't control the fans, regardless what position
Fans know
you're in.
best.
Fans make football.
Yeah. That was a passionate one.
I know, yeah.
Jesus.
I've never been that passionate before, but
We're
no.
moving to the Ballon d'Or now. As we've already said, we've been overrated, won the result last week with 38 votes, new record for us.
I know, yeah.
I'll be up
Let's
on
keep
Twitter.
those votes coming up.
Let's go for 40. Let's just get up on Apple by 2
Exactly.
next week. The poll will be up after this podcast on Twitter at twitter.com/3kick.
So for this week, I'm going to start with Jack. Who is your Ballon d'Or?
For this. Right.
Your Ballon d'Or vote this week
goes
to.
As you may or may not know, there was a certain boxing fight on Saturday night. A certain Derek Chisora controversially lost
To Joseph
I think
Parker.
he was unlucky.
I agree.
For that reason, I'm going to go for Del Boy, Derek Chisora, as my pick this week. I think he deserves some recognition. He's a good boxer. I think he's lost too many to do anything major now. But yeah, Del Boy, Derek Chisora is my pick this week. Ryan.
So obviously, there's only one thing I can go for, really. Throughout the whole Sunday, watching the whole Sky Sports punditry team of Neville, Carragher, Souness, Keane, Richards, etc., being passionate about the whole United protests, it was just enthralling to watch because obviously you had Graham Souness trying to defend the Glazers. And I loved that really annoyed me because Graham Souness, used to play for Liverpool, obviously hates Man United. And then I saw Santan Dave's Instagram story of players growing up to be Rooney, Lampard. Yeah. He said that never in my 21 years of being on this earth has anyone said, when I grow up, I want to be Graham Souness. Nobody knows who Graham Souness is. I mean, they do, obviously, because he's a Sky pundit and used to be a football manager.
Footballing level, we don't know.
But don't forget, he's the manager that signed Ali Dia for Southampton, who obviously famously pretended to be apparently
was
George.
Ali Dia? He was, wasn't he?
Pretended to be George Weah's cousin.
And don't forget, it's the same Graham Souness that put on the Galatasaray flag in the middle of that Besiktas pitch or Fenerbahce pitch, whatever it was.
And he was in charge when Lee Bowie and Kieran Dyer had their fight at Newcastle.
Well, he's obviously amazing, isn't he? Then
he clearly is great, but no. The funny thing was about the whole punditry thing. They were going on about the protests and cancelled. And then after the whole protest and the game had been cancelled, it turned into a really funny discussion about who Man United's transfer target should be. It was like watching ex-pundits trying to play FIFA career mode as Roy Keane's off there like, oh yeah, we should be getting Harry Kane because he'll be a great striker. We should be going for Jack Grealish and Roy Keane saying he'd swap Grealish for Pogba in a heartbeat, which I think is debatable. But it was just really funny and enthralling to watch how one protest can cause such great and intense and fascinating panel discussion and stuff like that. So my pick this week is going to be the Sky Sports punditry from Sunday's game from Man United and Liverpool.
Good choice. Nathan.
Hey.
What is your... Oh, here he is. Oh, he's here. Hi everyone, I'm Nathan. This week I'm going to pick Malibu, the alcoholic beveragino. Bye, guys.
Right, yeah. So obviously those are 3 picks.
Derek Chisora, the Sky Sports punditry team, and Malibu.
So make sure that the poll will be up very shortly.
Trying to break the record of 38
votes. Let's get to 40.
Let's just go for it.
Let's just go to 40 votes. Yep. It will be on our Twitter at Free Kick Podcast.
Yeah.
Make sure to check that out. And now it's question time. Obviously, I have my 3 questions here, but I want you to ask me 3 questions first.
I haven't thought of this. Okay.
Make it interesting.
Okay, right. It's improv. All right, let's go for.
Okay.
Oh dear.
Oh, you having to think.
Do you think this is going to be the only Manchester United protest?
I don't think it will. I honestly believe that Man United fans will try and get more games cancelled.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, yes, whilst the protest on Sunday has had a massive effect, I think the only way the Glazers are going to be forced out of Old Trafford and Manchester for good is if these Man United protests continue to happen.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if there were a few Man United fans outside Villa Park on Sunday protesting, to be perfectly honest. Obviously, Europa League as well. There could be people going to the final outside the ground protesting. Obviously, when the fans being back for the final 2 Premier League games as well will be very interesting, I think, as well.
Agreed.
Because I think Man United play one of those games at home, I think, off the top of my head. So I think these protests will continue to happen.
Yeah.
And I think that if the Glazers are to be forced out, then that sort of protest, without the whole vandalising stuff and throwing bottles, will have to continue happening, I think, personally.
Yeah. Okay. Next question. Paul Pogba, keep or sell?
See, this is a question that I've been going through in my head. Obviously, I thought of a few scenarios of Man United's summer transfer window, and I thought of there are 2 scenarios. We could either have to keep Paul Pogba's scenario or don't. See, Paul Pogba's an interesting one because obviously he's been at the club now 4 or 5 years 5 years now since he rejoined for 89 million. Obviously, he was supposed to be the marquee signing that would lead us back to trophies and the Premier League title.
I'd say it's flopped.
I think you can look at it, but you can look at it. Yeah, on the whole, I think he has flopped. I mean, obviously, he scored in the Europa League final. He scored 2 goals in that Man City derby comeback where he had blue hair. But obviously, the agent he's with hasn't helped his situation at all. Raiola, that guy.
The pig.
I mean, obviously, he's been out a couple of times. Apparently, he offered Pogba to City one time. What else? He said that he's obviously come out into the press and said Pogba's unhappy and wants to leave. So obviously, Raiola being his agent doesn't help at all. It's why Sir Alex Ferguson let Pogba go to Juventus in the first place all those years ago, because he didn't like dealing with Raiola. But if you think, but Paul Pogba, I think, is one of our best midfield players at the moment. I think I think he's had his best playing spell under Ollie, personally, out of all the managers he's played under. Obviously, he fell out with Mourinho, and
it was inevitable, though.
It was inevitable, yeah. Same with Martial, really.
Same with Dele Alli.
Yeah, big egos are all never going to get on with Jose, but I think playing him on the left, where Ollie's had him play in the past couple of games.
Left midfield.
Yeah, he's been playing left midfield under Ollie at times. But I think it's really worked. I mean, he came a key game, obviously AC Milan away in the Europa League, came off the bench. Within 3 minutes, he scored, playing on the left-hand side. He's got a couple of assists this season as well, scored a couple of goals. This is he's played better under Ollie than I've seen him in the 5 years he's been at Old Trafford. So when I look at it, I can see why I want to keep him. But then I really think, well, is there any point? It's debatable. On the whole, obviously, if we do sell him, I think it'll be the best for both parties, because he'll get to go to Real Madrid or wherever, maybe Juventus, wherever, win Champions Leagues or whatever with whoever, and we'll be able to use the money we get for Pogba to buy someone who actually wants to play for the club. One or two players, depending on how much he goes for, that can help us. That someone like Declan Rice, even, who could fit into the Man United midfield for, I don't know, the next decade, potentially. But I can understand why some fans want to keep him and why some fans don't. But my own personal opinion, if we're to be successful, as much as I've liked Pogba the past couple of seasons, I think we have to sell him for the benefit of us winning the Premier League title.
Good answer. And a final question: where do you see yourself finishing this season?
Good question.
Still enough time to change.
There is still enough time to change. Obviously, I hope we finish second, because that'll be Champions League football, and it'll be considerable progress from last season under Ollie, where we finished fourth or third, because we knocked Leicester off third on the final day. when Jesse Lingard came off the bench and scored. But obviously, it would be considerable progress. But the only problem I have with finishing second is this reminds me of Mourinho's season in charge when he finished second, so many points behind City.
Mm-hmm.
It was the summer after where he needed to be backed and he wasn't, which led to his sacking. So, and that was the summer. Yeah, we lost the Europa League semi-final that season as well. So obviously, it's deja vu potentially again this summer. Do I think the owners will back Ollie though? I think they will, especially to a certain extent. Yeah, we're not going to be getting the likes of Sancho, Declan Rice, Haaland, etc. But if he signs at least 3 or 4 players that Ollie actually wants, then I think it will be a successful summer. But obviously, it depends on how the final few games go, because obviously we have to play Liverpool now, whenever, at a later date. Yep. We've got to play Leicester again, when the last time we played them, we played so poorly and got dumped out the FA Cup by them. So we go to Southampton, we play Southampton, who we never usually do well against, or are a bogey team, where we usually go 2-0 down and then win 3-2 against them. So obviously, we could finish second or third, or we could play poorly and end up finishing fourth.
Yep.
And obviously, a big factor as well is what the punishment's going to be for this protest.
Which we'll go into that.
Exactly, yeah. So I hope we finish second, but obviously, it's a waiting game. Yeah, but I do think we'll finish second, personally.
Yep. Nice. Okay,
some good answers.
Quizmaster.
Now, my questions. So, obviously, VAR has been a controversial point.
Yeah.
What would you do to change VAR next season to make it better?
New referees, or have them an intense training course over the summer.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be at least 8-9 weeks.
Yeah.
Get them all training every day. Fitness, decision making.
Change the offside rules and handball. Well, not the offside rule. Well, the offside rules. Because you can't be offside with your elbow or your toe.
You can't. Have the decisions based on a percentage, I think. So let's say you have 10 referees in the room. No, 11 referees in the room, so it's not an even number. There'll be a video played, and that scenario will be handball or not handball. Whatever the one with the highest percentage is, that is the rule. That's the easiest way. And it's about opinion, I know, but it's all about opinion. But new referees, that's it. Just new refs. Keep the tech, just new refs.
Good. Second question.
Bye.
No. My second question to you is: if you could get rid of 4 Spurs players,
just 4
from the current squad.
Right.
Say you're Daniel Levy, and you had the opportunity to get rid of 4 players to bring 4 players in maximum. Which 4 players would you sell or get rid of to make way for new bodies to come in?
Bale, straight away. In that loan deal. Telnet, the loan deal. Dele Alli, because he has a pill. Money appeal. Stephen Bergwijn, because he's also got a pill. Money-wise. And Sanchez. That's the 4 that goes. The ones that come in as replacements, Ramos comes in. On a free transfer.
No chance, but...
Phil Foden, because I can be as a reference.
Yeah, you can be as a...
Phil Foden. And then, what should I say as well? Bale. Instead of Bale, we can have... Who's a good replacement for Bale?
Dwight McNeil.
Harvey Barnes. Replacement.
Massive downgrade there.
It's not. It's actually not, though, is it?
No, it's not.
Wait. Who's the one?
You said Sanchez, Bale, Bergwijn.
Instead of Bergwijn, bin him off and get... Who's a good winger?
Dwight McNeil. I've already said Dwight McNeil.
Yeah, but it's probably someone that's already made, I feel. Kingsley Coman, he can come in. He's good. He's excellent.
Interesting choices.
There's your 4.
Sir, and my final question. You obviously saw what a protest can achieve.
Yep.
Would you like to see the same at Spurs as what you saw at Man United on Sunday?
Yes, definitely. Just go for it. Anyone that's going on the 15th of May, do it. Just go in there, run on the pitch, get a Dulux paint, give it a nice paint.
Dulux paint.
A fresh coat of paint. I see someone on Twitter's already made a remix. They've made a song.
Oh, I need to see that.
Yeah,
I haven't seen
it. On the decks. It's from a video where someone's calling Daniel Levy a certain C word, and he's remixed it into like a like a house kind of like rage.
Oh,
it's good.
right.
It's pretty good. Yeah,
I need to see that.
that's pretty good. Yeah, just do it. If you're going on the 15th, I'd love to go, but I can't 'cause I'm down here. Just go all out. Make a point. Make a statement. That's all I can really just go for it.
You never know. We could just decide, me, you, and Nathan, to take a trip to London.
Imagine it.
We could just decide.
We
oh,
could
why
do
not?
that.
We could do that.
But a serious note, yeah, do it all out. Do I think it'll be as big? No way. You saw the one before, about 10 people there.
And then the highlight of that Spurs protest was a guy jamming the guitar.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Play us another number.
Literally.
Ding, ding. Oh, when the Spurs go marching in.
Right, and then to wrap up,
we've got the
this
big question.
Podcast. The big question is, Ryan, go ahead.
So, what is the acceptable punishment for Manchester United after the protests on Sunday? So, I've touched on it already. Obviously, I don't know what an acceptable punishment would be, or to be perfectly honest, because it was a peaceful protest. Are you seriously going to punish the club for a peaceful protest and based off a few idiots that were apparently breaking and entering when Twitter footage shows that fans were let into the stadium of their own accord by stewards and all that, even though the club have come out and denied and saying, oh no, they broke their way into Old Trafford.
Where's the damage?
If you look at the footage, there's no proof. There's no proof, and evidence suggests otherwise. So, if they're going to dock points based on wrongly evidence, then it's completely wrong. But if the fans are going to continue to protest, and I say go for it, because the Glazers need to be gone. That I've said it for many years now.
You sound just as tired as I am.
I know, yeah. I've put up with it for long enough. I mean, obviously, I wanted David Moyes to succeed.
We all did.
He was sacked. Van Gaal came in. I was like, oh yeah, guided Netherlands to a World Cup semi-final. Brought Depay in. I thought, oh great, he's got Di Maria. He had Falcao. I thought, oh yeah, we have a chance to win the title. That went downhill massively. Mourinho came in. I was like, oh yeah, Zlatan, Lukaku, Mkhitaryan, Pogba. We're back. Finished second. I was like, okay, Mourinho, doesn't play the best of football at times, but he finished second with an average squad. If he gets backed in the summer, we might have a chance. What happens? Doesn't get backed. He gets sacked. Ollie comes in, and there have been times for the past couple of years where I thought that the owners would sack him. Many thought he would be sacked after the Spurs defeat. It didn't happen. Many thought he would be sacked after we exited the Champions League. Surprisingly, they didn't. And the fans have put up with the Glazers' decisions long enough to sack managers, bring in the players that are suitable. I always think that the transfer of Donny van de Beek was their way of appetising the fans for not bringing in Sancho. And I feel really sorry for Donny van de Beek, because if you watched him when he played for Ajax, he looked like one of the best young midfielders around. I hope that I think he will get more game time next season if Pogba goes, because
he's a top player.
Van de Beek is a top player, and hopefully he gets to showcase it. But I've always said that he was a marquee signing by the Glazers as an attempt to appease the fans, because we wouldn't pay the fee for Sancho at the time. Yeah. And obviously there's rumours that Sancho's fees lowered this summer to like 80-70 million. So there's no excuse if it doesn't happen. There's literally no excuse at all. So I can see. So I don't care what the punishment is. If it's docked points, if we're banned from the Champions League or whatever, it wouldn't matter to me. As long as there was an article that popped up during my final year at uni saying that the Glazers are putting the club up for sale, because I'd party if I find out that happened. I don't know what your thought is on the punishment. I mean, obviously, I've gone with a more personal approach.
It's difficult to say because there's some fans that were fine.
Exactly.
The 85% of the fans, they're over here on the good side. The 15%, do they get a ban? It's controversial either way, if they did or they didn't.
It's the ones that stormed the hotel and attacked the police officers. Well, rumoured to have attacked.
They did. There's some of us.
Yeah, I know. Right.
The ones that I think assaulted police officers, give them a ban.
Well, yeah,
That's fair.
there was one arrest made for.
I think that's
due
fair
to-
enough.
For yesterday, yeah. But
The ones that vandalise the equipment, yes, give them a fine. But I understand why, because the prices are too high.
and
It's £200 a month to get fine BT.
Are you really going to punish the club by docking points for having a good second half to the campaign because of 20% of fans that broke equipment and ambushed police officers? It's like, really?
Yeah, I just feel that
you can't punish. It's not Man United. It's not like Man United organised the protest themselves.
No, it's not.
Because that would never.
They knew it was coming.
They knew it was coming. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no.
And then obviously the Twitter footage showing that some of the staff actually allowed the fans into the ground anyway.
They agree with it. That's why. They're
exactly. There are people that work inside Man United that agree with the fans as well.
Yeah.
That the Glazers are just using Man United as a profit, as a means to an end.
Yeah.
It's sad because obviously I grew up with Man United. My mum was a supporter for Man United when I was growing up. She watched the likes of Lee Sharp, Dwight York, Andy Cole. You know, she watched the first time we won the Champions League back in 1999. You know, I grew up learning about Man United, about where the club came from, the Munich air disaster, watching the likes of Ronaldo, Tevez, Rooney, Carrick, Scholes, Ferdinand Vidic, Van der Sar. You know, I've watched
Bebe,
Nani, Javier Hernandez. You know, I've watched Man United through the years and known. Well, I've laughed and cried because Man United are my English club, my Premier League club, so to speak.
Yeah.
And obviously, seeing the state they're in now, knowing that they're, a few seasons ago, years behind the likes of Man City and Liverpool, like nowhere near a Premier League title, whilst the Glazers have continued to take money out of the club, put us in more debt, and laugh in America and care about the stockpiles. It's just like, you're ruining our history.
Yeah.
It's like ruining our history. We were built on winning Premier League titles and being successful, not being used as a global marketing brand for your.
It's modern football, Ryan. You just got to live with it now. Unfortunately, the times of glory are gone. It's all about profit now.
It is profit now.
Going back to the question, the punishment, it should just be the ones that broke the law. Just the ones that broke the cameras and assaulted the police officers.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, you're fine.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and I think we're done.
We're done.
Yeah, right.
We're
So,
done. Passionate Man United rant over for me this week.
Lovely. If you have enjoyed today's podcast episode, give us a follow on here. Give us a like on here.
Follow us on Twitter at Free Kick Podcast and on Instagram
and on Facebook.
At Free Kick Podcast.
Type in the Free Kick Podcast, you'll find us. Give us a follow.
And make sure to hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel.
Yeah,
Get us to 50 subscribers.
We are doing videos soon.
Yeah, we've got exciting content coming out.
We've just been planning it for a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Obviously, the Euro squad announcement is in a couple of weeks. We will be making videos on our live reaction to the England squad announcement.
It could be a good actual live reaction.
That
could be good.
Yeah.
That could be content. Right, but if you have enjoyed, just do all those things we just said. And we will see you next Monday or Tuesday, depending on what happens, basically.
Yeah.
And we'll see you then. Peace out.
Adios.
Adios.